From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Following a mostly quiet and mild start to the week across a large part of the eastern half of the nation, a large, multifaceted storm is expected to take shape by the middle of this week that can bring a variety of impacts. AccuWeather meteorologist Brandon Buckingham said that a clash of warm, humid air and cold Arctic air will result in variations of impactful weather for millions of Americans this week. Severe thunderstorms, a dangerous ice storm, and accumulating snow are all expected between Wednesday and Thursday as a storm races east. The storm will signal the start of what could end up being one of the stormiest periods of the winter from the plains to the East Coast during the first half of February, perhaps partially proving Punxsutawney Phil's prognostication of 6 more weeks of winter correct. As atmospheric ingredients come together over the central states tonight into tomorrow, the storm will be underway, and first on the docket will be a risk of an icy mix on its cold side and feisty thunderstorms on its warm side. Thunderstorms are expected to blossom Wednesday afternoon around the Mississippi Valley, including the St. Louis area, before advancing toward the Ohio Valley during the evening and nighttime hours. Hail and damaging wind gusts over 50 miles per hour will be the primary threats. Additional thunderstorms are expected farther south and east into the Tennessee Valley come Thursday, but widespread severe weather is not anticipated. Meanwhile, on the colder side of the storm, a wintry mix of snow and ice can throw a wrench into travel plans for the middle of the week in some big cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Minneapolis. A swath of snow is expected from Montana across the U.S.-Canadian border into the Great Lakes through Wednesday night. Widespread snow amounts of 1 to 3 inches is expected, including in cities like Bismarck and Green Bay. Now, farther south, there may be some snow, but it's really the ice that will take over as the main threat there. Significant icing featuring a buildup of 1/4 of an inch or more could occur into Wednesday night, mainly along and between the Interstates 80 and 94 corridors in Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Hazardous travel would result from that freezing rain. AccuWeather meteorologists are warning that the impacts from icing will not just be limited to the Midwest, but will also expand into parts of the Appalachians, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast later in the week. A portion of the central Appalachians, north through Pennsylvania and southern New York, appear most at risk for a significant ice storm, where up to 1/2 inch of ice buildup is not out of the question. Cumberland, Maryland, Harrisburg, Scranton State College, and Williamsport in Pennsylvania, and Binghamton, New York, are among the cities at risk for long-lasting power outages, downed tree limbs, and nearly impossible travel conditions from this storm. A much larger area, extending as far south and east as the I-95 corridor, from D.C. to Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston, and then north through upstate New York, are expected to see a briefer period of icing. The Northeast big cities are expected to change over to rain as the storm persists, but farther to the north, snow is expected for part or most of the storm. Cold air present along the U.S.-Canadian border will allow for precipitation to fall as mostly snow across portions of the Northeast. Widespread snow amounts upwards of 3 inches are expected across northern New England, with closer to 1/2 foot of snow expected in the higher elevations of northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. A coating of snow is possible for Boston and New York City. Any amount of icing can lead to slippery travel, especially on untreated surfaces and bridges and overpasses. Now, this period may end up coinciding with the Thursday morning commute in many areas, forcing delayed openings or closures for schools and businesses. Complicating things will be the potential for cold, gusty winds to follow the storm on Thursday and Friday, potentially resulting in a rash of additional hazards even after the icing is over. Temperatures are expected to drop back near or below the historical average for early February across much of the Midwest and Northeast behind this storm. Widespread wind gusts, upwards of 50 miles per hour, are forecast across the Great Lakes on Thursday before shifting into the interior Northeast on Friday. Wind gusts in excess of 30 miles per hour are possible across the Interstate 95 corridor of the Northeast Friday as well. So, is this the start of a train of storms into mid-February? Well, AccuWeather's team of long-range forecasters have been hinting about a stormy first half of February since last month, and that scenario seems to be coming to fruition. Following the first storm during the middle of this week, another will follow closely on its heels Friday through the weekend, and while details on where snow, ice, and thunderstorms can occur are still a little bit hazy at this point, many of the same areas are expected to see this adverse weather. At least one more storm could follow that with even more moisture and cold air, which may bring more snow and ice. That's all for now. You can find more stories and regional forecasts at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.